Hello, book friends. Welcome back. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And thank you for watching Tracy's Open Book. So, friends, in today's video, I am going to do my January wrap-up. All right? So, I'm super surprised that I actually have more books than the original 8 that I had planned to read. And that is because I did 4 audiobooks this month. I have a lot of time, while I'm working. I'd sit and listen to a book. And so I got 4 books done. So I'm going to go over those books, and then we're going to move on to the physical books that I actually read. So the first book that audiobook that I did was The Surrogate Mother by Frida McFadden. Yo, girl, Frida. Yes, I got another one of her books in. And this book was a thriller, as most of hers are. And so in this story, we're following Abby, and she is pretty much the main female character. Now, we also have Monica as well. So Abby, she is the woman who, and I cannot remember her husband's name, child. I can't remember it. But anyway, Abby is wanting to have a baby, and I guess, her and her husband have been wanting to have a baby. And so, of course, they were having some challenges. And then you have this other female character, Monica, who is not only, I believe she was like her assistant or something. And she worked with her all the time. Abby confided in her, all the things. And so, Monica knew that Abby, really wanted a baby. And so, Monica decided that she was going to volunteer to be the surrogate for Abby. And of course, Abby thought that it was really, strange for several reasons that you'll read in the story, why Monica would even volunteer doing something like that. But little does Abby know, but Monica got some secrets, child. And you just go through that narrative, you go through that story, and then that's where you come to all the twists and turns. And I'm telling you what, I gave this book a 3.5. Abby did get on my nerves a little bit. She got on my nerves a little bit. And her husband did too, really. But, of course, with Frida, honey, those twists come near the end there. And, all right. So, next up, we have A Midlife Baby by Carrie Hansen. And I originally had one of the physical books that I started in December. And I'm going to talk about that book as well. But this is book 2 of the book that I'm going to end up showing you. And so you have 3 female characters in this book. It's Helen, Kay, and Kara, which is short for Caroline, or they call her Cairo, which is short for Caroline. But in this particular one, without going into a whole lot of detail, because I'm going to talk about the physical book. So I'm just going to briefly just let you know that this book is still about their friendship. It's about, midlife. Of course, the title tells it all. Somebody trying to have a baby. And when we talking about midlife, child, we talking about 50. Okay, we talking about 50 years old, and you are wanting to have a baby. So that's where the midlife baby come in at. All right. And I gave this book 3.75. So I went ahead and read the last book of this series, which is A Midlife Gamble, I believe. Yes, A Midlife Gamble. And that's by Carrie Hansen. And in this book, oh, all kind of stuff jump off with these friendships, child. And so you're talking about, at this point, trying to rebuild the friendship. We're talking about forgiveness in this friendship by this time. We're talking about, you know, I can't tell you that part because I'll give it away should you decide to read it. But there is so much that happens in this last book. But at the end, you'll see that friendship, you know, come back around. So this book, these are adult fiction books, okay? So, and like I said, these particular books may not, you know, be everybody's fancy. You know, if you're not 50 or not even in your mid 40s, you may not like this book. You may not like this series. So, you know, really check into this series should you decide you want to read it. Because actually, you know, it's slow burn. It's slow burn. Well, it was slow burn on the first book. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead, and since I'm talking about it, this is the book that I'm talking about. And this is a midlife holiday. And basically, without telling too much of the story, these three friends decide to go on vacation. And in these books, they call holiday vacation. So you'll hear that word holiday, and what they're really talking about is vacation. And so they decide to go, you know, we're 50, life is lifing, you know, let us just go take a trip. Let's just get away from it all and go take a trip. But baby, a lot goes on this trip, okay? All right, so I really love this series. It was just for me. It was so relatable in some sense, you know. Just about dealing with midlife. And if you, like I said, if you are one who, you know, is heading that direction, child, this will be a good little series for you to read. And then the last audio book that I listened to was You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This is a thriller, guys, and I'm telling you, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. You have your female character, your main female character, Grace, and she is, you know, wanting to get away. You know, she has work and all of these things, and evidently this is something that she does every year. And so she wanted to get away, and she drives and goes to Wyoming, out in the thickets, honey, out in the thickets. Go out to Wyoming, and she's staying in this Airbnb. And I'm telling you, once again, I ended up giving this book a 3.25 because once again, the way the storyline was going, it was so many signs. It was so many signs right away that, you know, if you stop reading this book if you stop reading it midway through the book, you would have missed it, you know, because she was getting on my nerves. It was like, girl, first of all, you by yourself. Did I say she was by herself? You by yourself, and you getting all these signs to turn around, child. And she went to this Airbnb where this guy named Calvin was the hostess. He owned the Airbnb. We talking about, when I say Calvin, she out there with the chickens and the goats and the horses and nobody else around for miles except, you know, the townspeople and everybody looking at you, side-eyeing you and all that. Yes, she was there. And, you know, I think, like I said, by the time I got like halfway through the book, you know, that's when, you know, of course, you got this woman staying here at this Airbnb, and the hostess is staying in there too. So, of course, you know, there's some romantic tension going on, and there's some craziness going on too. So it was a good book. I would say read it. I would say read it if you like a thriller and you don't mind, the slowness of it. Then yeah, try it. Read it. I would say read it. I just gave it a 3.25 because, like I said, I felt like if you're used to reading thrillers, you're like, just, let's just get with it. And I felt like it just took a while to get where I wanted to get to the suspense part, because like I said, a lot of things that were happening, you were like, girl, if something do happen to you, then that's what you get, kind of situation, because she was tripping. But I really enjoyed it, and I never could go wrong with Frida. Frida, for the most part, she is, not Frida, child. I meant Geneva Rose. See, I'm still stuck on Frida. Geneva Rose, I'm trying to think, what else did I read from her? I forget, but she's okay. She's okay. You would like the book, so why not read it? All right. So then, and I do apologize, friends. I read so many books that I had to write some stuff down because after a while you forget. After a while, after reading, you got all these characters. I don't save them. I only got so much space up here. So I'm not going to read. It got to be a real good book, honey, for me to remember a lot of names and all of that. And a lot of these books have more than a couple of characters in them. Okay, so you trying to remember everybody? I don't have enough brain space up there for that. So anyway, we're gonna now go to the actual book. So if you remember in my previous video, I had my husband actually pick 4 of my books. Okay. And because I need to get a lot of these books off of my shelf, not get them off my shelf, but I need to read them. I need to read them because your girl, she going book shopping probably at least 2 or 3 times out of the month. All right. Because that's my therapy. All right. It's my business. It's my therapy. Okay. So, he picked 4 books for me. So I think I had a total, and I just gave one away with the midlife holiday. And then he picked, which ones did he pick? I can't even remember which ones he picked. So you'd have to go back and watch the video, child, if you want to remember which one. I know I read them with the exception. With the exception of the one that I'm sure, I know that somebody looking at my last video, somebody was probably saying, she ain't gonna read that book. She is not gonna read that book. And if you said that, child, you was right. You was right. I saved Terry McMillan's A Day Late and a Dollar Short. I didn't read it. I didn't get to it. But just to be fair, I am going to slide it on over into my February TBR, and try to go ahead and read this. So once again, y'all know I didn't read it. And then another book that I have not finished yet, that was on my January TBR, was Lisa Jewell's Watching You. And honestly, this book, y'all, it is a very slow burn, okay? Very slow. It is so slow. Like, I'm on chapter 35, okay? And I'm just now interested in this book, just a little bit. So, it's how many chapters it is. Let me see. I think it's 60-something chapters. And mind you, these chapters are very small. They're like, after 3 pages, you're into the next chapter. So it's not as though, because this book is only like 300 and something pages. So it's not that the chapters are long. It's just that the storyline, the plot, it's just dragging. And like I said, I'm halfway through the book. It's 68 chapters in here. I'm on 35. And it's just now getting to the point where I want to read the book. So I'm not going to DNF it. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and this too might. So I'm not sure if I'm going to add it to my February TBR or if it's going to get in where it fit in at. Okay. So if it so happened that not my January, my February TBR, if it so happens that I get through the books that I plan on reading for February, then I'll finish this. Okay. I'm going to try to finish it today, today is the 31st. Okay. I'm going to try to knock it out today. But if I don't, then baby girl gonna have to wait until maybe the end of February. Okay, we shall see. I hate being this close and dragging this. I just want to be done with it. I just want to be done with it. Okay, so we'll see. All right. So, I'm gonna start with all my. And y'all, listen here. I had 3 5-star reads. Yes, 3 of them things. I had 3 5-star reads in January. I mean, we jumping off already. And mind you, these is what I feel like are 5-star reads. You know, some people might be like, girl, bye, that you know, them books are not 5-star reads, but these are what I feel like are 5-star reads. And the first book that I'm gonna start with after I take a little sip of this coffee sitting here, y'all, because look, a girl was getting weary. I was getting weary today. I was feeling it in my spirit. I was getting tired, but I knew I had to get this video done, so I had to go make me a Starbucks. Bell, hold your mule. I'll be right back. Woo! Thank y'all. So, my first 5-star read. Everybody talking about James, y'all. Everybody talking about James. Oh my goodness. By Percival Everett. Let me tell you something. I think I mentioned it in my last video. This here is a book that I won't say that I would never have picked up, but it wouldn't have been my go-to. Because see, some books you might get me on the hype, but I kind of knew that this storyline was, about slavery and things like that. And even though I love our history and, honey, let me tell you something. Those who know. But girl, after when Roots came out, I never wanted to read or watch another movie having to deal with the things that, the Black Americans went through. I have a hard time with it, and so I was very hesitant about picking this book up, okay? But I am so glad that I did. 5-star. I mean, we're following Jim. He is the main man in this storyline. And, once again, I'm not gonna say a whole lot about this book. I mean, even in the synopsis, they're not saying a whole lot, which I love. This is, that's how I love going into books. Don't just give me enough to want it. All right. Just give me a little taste. All right. And if it's good, then I'm going to read it. If it's good, I'm going to eat it. Right. So, you're following Jim or James, and James, this is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn. And James, I'm just going to give you a hint, okay? James finds out that he is going to be sold from his family, basically. And James was like, I ain't having that. You know, I got to figure out a plan. And so instead of being sold, he decides that he is going to leave his family and I guess try to figure out things. And so basically you're following that whole storyline, all that he goes through when he runs and what have you. But in that, you have Huck and Huck Finn, which is one of the little boys in the story that James worked for his mama and daddy, okay? And so Huck, for some reasons that you'll read about, decides that, you know, he got to run from his abusive father, all right? And so basically, you're following all of the things that take place after both of them ran off, okay? And I'm telling you, it was so good. It was so, like, personal. I will read American literature, and I don't want to say this is not like the first American literature book that I've read, but it's the first one I've read in a long time. And so I loved it. It's a beautiful book. I'm so glad I read it. And if you haven't, I'm telling you, go get it. All right? Go get it. It's so good. All righty. The next one is Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. Here we have another book that I honestly probably would not have read it. I you know, your girl, she doing some things. You know, she getting out of her normal, honey, and she trying out some stuff. And this one right here, I am now a S.A. Cosby fan. Now, you know, I got a couple other books that I'm like a little scared about, but the writing and this book drew me in, and you're following, what's his name? Beauregard. I like calling him Bug. That's his nickname. He's the main male character in this book. He's a husband, a father, but bruh got some past, honey. He has some past, okay? And he was the man in his past, okay? And so he's put up with some decisions that he has to make. And unfortunately, you know, it may mean that his past got to show back up. But I love this story. You're talking about a man who, you know, would do whatever it takes, okay, to take care of his family. And I love a man like that. So this is really good. If you ever read it, go get it. And then my last 5-star read is The Couple Next Door. Yeah, I know I'm late. I know I am late to the game on this one, but I really did give this book a 5-star. You know, I've read, you know, plenty of thrillers. I mean, now, this little domestic thriller child, it did get on my nerves a little bit. Once again, and I don't know why all the female main characters got to be loop-de-loop. I don't know why. But you're following Anne, and she's the female main character, and then her husband is Marco. And they decide, you know, they want to go to a party, and, you know, they have their daughter, what was her name? Cora. And so they wanted to really go to, well, I won't say they really wanted to go, but they were invited to a party next door, and, you know, for whatever reason, they went on and went, child, and here they got this baby, and next thing you know, a crime takes place. And then you just follow that storyline. And like I said, it was, and this is a really quick read. It was fun. It was quick. The wife got on my nerves too. She got on my nerves. But at the end of the day, the twists and the turns and the turns and the twists is what made me give this book a 5-star. All right. I say go get it. If you haven't read it, go get it. Now, my next book, oh my word. And really, I probably should have gave this a 5-star. You know, you give 5 stars all willy-nilly, but I really, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not gonna go back and change it. But Kennedy Ryan, that girl be on. She got it. She got it together when it comes to these romances. She got me. She don't ever have to worry about me not reading her books. Okay, this story was something. So you're talking about Joe, and she is the male or the main female character, and then you have Cameron or Cam, and he's the male main character in this book. And this is kind of like I don't know if I don't. It's not like a. I think it could be, yeah, it's more of a like friends to lovers type book. Joe, you know, she did a little bit too much for me as far as dealing with this guy, you know, because, yeah, he was playing too much. Even if he had a good reason, child, he was just playing too much for me. But at the end of the day, you know, once you find out the struggles and the reasons why, his reason why, you know, he had this girl dragging her along, you know, it turns into a beautiful love story. And I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4.5. The next book we have is Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory. Now, this cover, I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the cover of this book, I was like, because I really loved her other books that I read. But when I saw the cover on this book, I was like, I don't know if I want to read this. But I'm so glad I did. This turned out to be a really, really good love story. So you have Olivia, who is the main female character in this book. And then you have Max Powell or Pyle. He's the main male character in this book, and he's a junior senator. And basically, you know, Olivia decides she's an attorney, and she decides that she wants to move to LA to open up a law firm with her friend. And, you know, in doing so, you know, she went to a bar one night and she's talking to this guy at the bar, and, you know, you can see little sparks going on or whatnot. And she had no idea who this guy was. And it turns out that the guy was this senator, Max Powell. And, you know, so they, you know, start talking a little bit more, and they move along and they start secretly seeing each other. So right there, if I got to sneak to see you, then I'm like, wait a minute, what we doing here? You know, but because of his position, you know, they decide they're going to continue to, you know, go out or whatever to see each other. But, you know, you got the secrets in that too. We got secrets going on. You know, we're talking about Joe, she's a black woman, and Max is a white man. So you got that playing, that scene going on, and the fact that he's this high profile senator, and you add all that together with a little spicy spice, and you got yourself a really good little love story. And so this is really good. I'm glad I did read this. I gave this a 4-star. And I have the whole series. I think all of these are like standalones, but it's a series of them. I got I think I got 4 or 5 other books to this series. So, yeah, I'm excited to get to the rest of those. And then the last book I have is The Guest List. Child, let me tell you something. By Lucy Foley. Now, this was my first book by this author. This is a thriller. And this was my first book by this author. And I mean, based on the cover and the synopsis, I thought, oh, this gonna be a page turner. I'm gonna get this book done. Child. Whew. It was like riding on the back of a turtle, child. This book just drug on and on. I promise you, about 200 pages, 100 pages in, I'm like, what's going on here? It was so many characters, and I'm like, storyline, please. Like, it was so many characters I was trying to keep up with that I was like, wanted to put it down. And to me, this should have been, I should have been flipping it. I mean, you got, like I said, you got, I don't know how many POVs in this book. I don't know. It was just too many. And my little mind just couldn't take it. And I'm like, just get to the point. And, like I said, I went on and hung it on out, child. I ended up giving this book a 3.75. And that's really because by the time I got to the end of the story, it was pretty good. It thrilled me, okay? And so I'm not going to give up on old Lucy. I'm going to give Lucy another chance, all right? But this one, I wouldn't say don't read it, but at the same time, yeah, you be the judge on it, okay? And so, friends, those are all of my books for January. I'm super excited about February. If you have not seen the video already, of me saying how I'm going to get that February TBR together, go watch it. It's out there. Once again, I thank you all for watching. If you've made it to the end of this video, put the little book emoji on there, okay? Put the little book emoji in your comments. Just let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know how you feel about any of these books. Let me know, girl, you tripping. That book, I didn't write the book. So if you don't feel like it should have got a 3.5 and a 3.75 and go ahead and tell me. That's what we here for. We all friends. We are all friends. All right. So I thank you all for watching. Until next time, keep being who you are. And that's a star. Bye.